Hey everyone! Welcome to another How to Webflow Live. I am Nelson. Thank you for joining me this weekend. I hope you're all staying home, staying safe, keeping those hands clean, wiping down all the things, and just, hanging tight till all of this gets better. Yeah, if you're not familiar with this stream, if this is your first time in the stream, please go in the live chat room right now and say hi. And speaking of which, with the live chat room, hello to the first person here, Velia? Yeah, I'm gonna mess up some of these names. I'm so sorry. But yeah, welcome. Metro, Colleen, Thomas, Mark, HD Web Design, Prashant, MJ. Some of you, let's see here. I think I recognize I recognize Colleen, Thomas, Mark, HG, and Prashant. I recognize you from last week, so thank you for coming back today. You are awesome. Yeah, so what are we going to be doing today? We're going to be talking about some basic stuff. More people have asked for beginner streams, further explaining CSS Grid, what else? What is it? Grid, collectionless filters, and the new feature nested collections. So that's what we're going to be doing. But before we get into that, again, hello to everyone in the live chat room. Please tell me, where are you from? Eunice is here. What's up? Scott Levin, I recognize your name. Russell, Junaid, Ian, welcome, welcome, welcome. Scott, you don't know me, but I have watched many of your videos. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do it out of love. I want everyone to learn Webflow. I want everyone to be inspired, empowered to build awesome things. And again, Webflow to me is like a box of Lego that you get to play with every day. And then when a new feature comes out, you're like, oh, hey, something new to play with, something new and shiny. So how do I use this with the other Lego bricks that I already have, And it just keeps growing from there. Yeah, so we're Morocco. Awesome. Canton, Ohio, New York City, Glendale. Hey, Glendale, nice. London, Netherlands, Thailand, Lebanon, Atlanta, Dallas, Texas. Oh, I know Colleen's from Florida. I've met you. You're awesome. Brooklyn. All right, mate. I'm from England. Yes, I'm all right. I hope you are too. Tony, yeah. Gats 100. Yeah, there we go. You are all awesome. Thank you for being here. All right. So how we usually do these streams is I have a topic that people have picked through the week and tweeted me or responded to the YouTube community tab on my channel and responded to my post there. But yeah, I love to answer these questions and help you understand Webflow more and more so you can make awesome projects for either yourself or your clients. Someone from Bangladesh, nice, Junaid, welcome. So we get into the topic, and then towards the end, I take your questions if we have time, and I usually stream from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time, and that's it. Just a very chill stream in a way that will help you learn. Okay? So, yeah. So hold on with your questions until I get done with the main topic that people have been asking throughout the week, which is the CSS Grid, collectionless filters, and the new nested collection. You asked me to read it and remind you about responsive web design. Yes, I'll go into that too. Towards the end. But actually, before I get into the main topic, someone has donated to my Buy Me a Coffee page. And so buymeacoffee.com/pixelgeek. I'll put it in the chat room right now. I'm doing well, Ranjan. Welcome from Brussels. And if you donate here, I get to your questions first. I put it on the top of my queue, or I just talk about, or I try to answer it as fast as I can during the live streams. Oh, cool. The chat box is working. Yay. Things are working. Also, someone made a point to enlarge my screen so it's easier to see the UI of Webflow and easier to see the mouse and the text and whatnot. So I've done that too. So thank you so much for the feedback. And also, thank you to Colleen. Before I started streaming this morning, she donated a coffee. So thank you so much, Colleen. So Babis, he bought me a coffee and he says, coming right back at you, hoping you can help me once again with my Webflow project. The thing I'm trying to replicate is this, and it's this link right here, and it's this component right here. Okay. And he says, the thing I'm trying to ask you is, how can I make the CTA button update the number every time I choose a different tab, if that makes sense? Right now it's set to $10, but if you click 15 or 30, it changes the number in the CTA. It takes some custom code. So this is what he's talking about. If I click on 15, this number right here changes to 15. If I click here, it changes. All right. So it's going to take some custom code, and let me try to answer this as fast as I can. And Babas, if hopefully you're watching right now, because we're going to get into this. And this is his website right now. It looks really cool. I like this logo right here. It's interesting. But this is getting cut off. I'm wondering... Oh, okay, it's a nav bar. But he's trying to replicate it right here. And he is actually on the right path using the tabs component. So when you click on the different tabs, it changes... Well, I guess it was supposed to change this. Does he have different content, or he's just copy-pasted? Oh, he has tabs within tabs. Ooh, interesting. So, I guess, yeah, that is one way to do it. Tabs within tabs. And then this tab, Honya, hold on. And I wonder, what is this interaction that he has here? Hover, so, okay, so it's just a hover interaction. Actually, the way I was thinking about it, which is custom code, might have been too hard. And Babis, I think you're already on the right path. Just add the button in here, and it would be easier for you to update. But if you want the custom code, route, you would need to understand code. So here's what I'm thinking. Each of these elements, each of these buttons has some sort of HTML attribute within them. Okay? And when you click on one, using JavaScript, you can send that data and update whatever number is in here, plus whatever back-end code to update the price of this button. Because I don't know what you're using to actually process the payment. So it's like, say if it was a PayPal button, you would generate a new PayPal button for each of these buttons, and then just paste in that code using a Webflow embed component for each tab. Now, if you take the custom code route, then you would need to update that code using JavaScript. So, Babis, you're already on the right path using tabs within tabs. But if you really want the custom code way, let me know. And it may take me more than 5 minutes to further explain how to do this. But this is the no-code way, where you're going right now. So keep doing this, and if you need more help, just DM me, and I'll look into it. But thank you so much for the coffee, and hopefully this answers your question. But again, you're on the right path. Just put in your button per amount of donation. All right, so good job. And also, I just saw Theodore. Thank you so much for the coffee. You rock. Let me refresh. Oh, Tio and someone else. Thank you for the positive attitude. Yay! Eunice, thank you for the 2 coffees. Y'all rock. Love you all. I'm glad to bring knowledge to you all, and I'm glad that it's valuable to you. Let's go. What? Okay, so CSS Grid. Now, oh, my glasses. So CSS Grid is this new display property. And if I go here and just bring in a grid, okay, this is what it is. Imagine it's like a table. It's like the old school tables back then. If you're familiar with old HTML before CSS, you would have to write tables. You would have to code in tables. But this is a more visual and easier way to structure a table or a grid, okay? And let me know what you really want to learn from this grid, because to me, using grid is super simple, but I could be wrong. Where I see using grid a lot is for collection lists. And let me see. Let's go ahead and actually, no, let me go back. Let's just put in some fake blog data. Ooh, my internet's slow. Come on now. Go back. Oh. Huh. Is Webflow slow? No. I'll go to the chat room real quick. Dropped frames. Am I still live? Are we good? Okay, we're good now. Okay. Oh, live streams. Gotta love it. All right, let me close this. Try again. Okay. All good here. Thanks, Ian. Still live. Then what? Oh, man. Yes, hi, Ridpath. Welcome back, Ridpath. As we wait for Webflow to load, I'll try to answer questions. Can you check out my Fiomet and explain how to do some of their animation can be done in Webflow? Yeah, happy to do that after this. I wonder if my laptop is just screaming right now, like, no. Is there anything I can turn off? No. Alright, so we're back here. Okay, we're good. Let me create a fake blog real quick. So, let's go ahead and make some blog posts and create collection. Cool. We're going to let's add 20 things. Yes. In regards to grid, how do you keep information from spilling out past the containers? Good question. Maybe it's just my computer that's working slow. Is there anything I can turn down? Let me close that, close that, close that. Okay. Maybe I saved some resources. All right. So we have our collection list of blog posts. And now what I usually use grid for is collection lists, especially for blog posts or repeated data. So if I drag in a collection list, and if you're confused about Webflow collections, refer to my last week's stream. But here we go. We're building on top of that. When you're using collections, again, and I made a YouTube video about this, but I'm happy to explain it again. Do not, I repeat, do not use any of these layouts. Okay? This layout is old school CSS. Only use this layout if your clients or your clients' users for their website uses Internet Explorer, because this is all old school CSS Float. If you're not familiar with Float and you don't have clients that use Internet Explorer, don't worry about it. It's old. You don't need. It's like learning how to write HTML tables. No one uses it. You don't need it. We're done with it. So just keep it on full width. All right. Now, open up this collection list wrapper, and you have this collection list. This is what you need to set as grid. Okay. So what grid does is makes a grid. Okay. So by default, grid is 2 by 2. Okay. As you can see here, 2 columns and 2 rows. And when 2 columns and 2 rows, and so you notice that it overflows. There's like extra rows. That's because right here, if there's any more data, then a new row will automatically be generated. So that's what this means right here. Okay. Now, what if we want 3 rows? Simple. You can press plus right here to add a column, or sorry, 3 columns. You can add one here from this panel, or on the canvas itself, click the plus right here. And now instead of 2 columns and then a bunch of rows, we have 3 columns and a bunch of rows. And it only creates enough rows for however much data you have. And notice how this row only has 2 posts and then the last one is blank. That's what grid does. So you don't have to worry about it. All right. So let's go ahead and like say 4. Okay. That's a nice number, 4. And wait a minute. Is this is what my stream is saying. My stream's still on. It's one of these days. One of these days. Is mine. I don't. It says poor. I don't get it. Still going, but some pauses. So sorry, everyone. I'm just gonna keep going. The show must go on. All right, so been cutting it out for me. Thought the issue is not. No, it's not on your end. It's mine. Dropped 23 frames in the last. All right, be right back. Okay, we should be back. And back. Yay! All right. Okay, so this is what it's saying. Stream is healthy, so you all should see me now. Man, look at that. Look at that. I went from healthy to warning to error to no data to healthy. Okay. Live streams, it's tough. Okay, so we're back here. So what have we done before we left? It's creating a grid of data from the collection list, okay? And the reason why I love using grid for collection lists is because it makes responsive design super simple, okay? So let's make something simple. Let's just oh God, why is it laggy? Okay, there we go. Let's just add a link block into one of these. And let's add an image inside of that link block. Get the image from blog posts. And we always want to get the alt text. Okay. So there we go. We have that grid. And so how does this work for responsive design? So if I go here, tablet, I'm like, you know what? It's too small. I want it 3 columns now. So all you have to do for responsive design is either click on this to edit the grid or edit the grid here on the styles panel and just remove, just trash one of your columns. Okay? So if I click remove, now it's 3 columns. If I go back up to here, to the desktop, it's 4 columns. If I go here, down to mobile landscape, I can delete one of the columns. And if I go down to mobile portrait, I can delete one of the columns. And there we go. Within seconds, you have a responsive blog post list. Okay? So I go here, desktop, tablet, mobile landscape, mobile portrait. Simple. All right. Is there anything else you want to learn from Grid? Someone asked. Let me see here. Let me scroll up. In regards to Grid, how do you keep information from spilling out past the containers? If Kevin, if you can give me an example of that, maybe I can look into it. But there has been times when Grid isn't that that perfect, like I showed you right here. Sometimes there's text that spill out, or you're using manual placement instead of autoflow. Okay, and so what I mean by manual placement versus autoflow is areas. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you all. I still need to understand area. I get kind of scared with area because I'm like, why would you need it if everything auto flows where you want it? Ranjan, I need to learn areas. HD web design, why are there red and blank fields in the grid? All right, awesome. I'm happy to explain that one. So let me go ahead and go back here to tablet, and I'm gonna edit it, and there we go. And notice how these 2 first rows are red. However, all the other rows below it are like clear. It has a red border, but it doesn't have a red tint, unlike the first 2 rows. That's because the first 2 rows were telling the HTML and the CSS specifically, hey, we are going to have 2 rows. But if there's more data that needs to go beyond the 2 rows, then Webflow will auto-generate those extra rows. So all the ones that you see here that seem blank, those are just auto-generated. Okay? So that's just Webflow helping you out. Thank you, Tomas. Yeah, the non-red are auto-generated. Correct. And same thing with columns. You can have auto-generated columns, as seen here. Okay. Cool. Any other questions? And before I get to those questions, you guys are crazy. Thank you so much for the coffees. I'll be drinking a lot of coffee. GATS 100. I'm a former Adobe Muse user. I'd like to ask you about best practices for responsive web design. Yes, for stacking elements on top of each other. This is one example. Okay. And I'll explain it. Ivan, thank you so much for the coffee. 20G, Hans, it's hot. It is. Okay, what if I don't want to auto-generate? It will auto-generate, Vela, the rows and columns will auto-generate if there's more data more data than you have as rows and columns. Okay, so you can't get away from it. Let me do another example. of Grid. So instead of using dynamic data and everything structured nicely, with Grid, you can actually create some crazy things. For example, if I drag in a grid and I say, you know what, I'm going to make this the full height 100 VH of the page, and I want to create some wild layout. So I can edit grid and just add a couple of columns, a couple of rows, and then I can remove the gap in between the columns and rows right here. And now it's kind of like you're playing, it's kind of like you're filling up boxes with things. And let me give you an example. Let me just get an image. Is this a good image? Okay, here's me at Disneyland. Let me up. Is it uploading? Hello. Oh gosh. Maybe the image is too big. So with Webflow, you have things called autoflow and manual. I'm going to show you manual real quick. So if I drag this here, automatically it's set to position auto. If I set it to manual, then I can move this anywhere in the grid. I can move it there. I can move it here. If I set it back to auto, it's going to push it back to the top left. If I put something else like, say, a button, and I try to put it somewhere here, notice how that button is not following me. If I let go, it's set to auto. If I set it to manual, now I can move this anywhere I want. If I try to move this one, notice how it's set to auto. I can't move it anywhere I want. If I do manual, now I can do stuff like, hey, I want this to span, I want this to start from column 1 and end at column 3. See, so 1, 2, 3 columns. Also, I can start from row 1 and end at row 1, or I can drag this down like that. And now it's taking up all 6 rows. I can go even crazier with this and make this a interesting layout background. Say it goes from column 1 to column 5 and goes from row 1 to row 5. And let's go ahead and make this stretch. I'm going to make the height. Let's see. Can I make this stretch? There we go. I'm going to make these stretch. And then, to make sure that it doesn't look warped, I'm going to use object fit and set it to cover. There we go. Let's do something different with this. Let's push it like that. Okay. And now with this button, notice how I can't see the button? It's because it's behind the image. If I want to put this on top, I have to push it lower in the grid. Now you might be confused right here if you're familiar with PowerPoint, Keynote, Photoshop, Illustrator, Figma, or whatever, where if you want a layer to be on top, it should be higher in this navigator. Well, in web design, it's different. Browsers read code from top to bottom. So whatever is at the bottom is the thing that's going to be on top. I know. Computers are weird. But it's just one of those things you got to get used to. Okay? So the button net is now on top, and because it's set to manual, I can set it to any position that I want. Okay. Now TB is asking, why is the button stretching? Let's see here. If I do, so inline. one of these things. Trying to explain this. Is it because grid is stretching? Let me see here. Okay, there we go. Okay, let me explain. So TB. Oh, Thomas already explained because it's filling the whole cell. So to override the filling of the whole cell, what I've done is on the actual grid, I align all elements to push to the top and push to the left. By default, grid makes all items stretch and stretch. So that's why it's taking up the full cell. Okay? So with CSS Grid and doing manual placement, you can do some fun things. I know that Pablo Stanley did Nintendo Grid. Is that the... Yep. So Pablo Stanley created this using grid and of course interactions to make this happen. So he made a bunch of different cells in a grid, and then just filled in each one to make pixel art. So he did one for Mega Man, and he did one for Link. Nuts. So crazy thing you can do with grid and manual placement. Not many people will do this, but it's fun to try. Okay, let me give you the link in the chat room. So Pablo Stanley did this, and this was when we didn't even have auto placement with grid. Now, to answer the question of what happens when you do something like this, when it gets smaller and then information goes beyond the grid. So I'm going to delete one of the columns. And I don't think it was supposed to do that. It's not. Okay, so this is supposed to be manual. Let me fix this real quick. I want something to break. There we go. Let's go back here. Oh. Okay, there we go. So it's kind of broken. Now, if you see here, this column right here is blank. It's clear. The reason why is because this column is being auto-generated. Now, sometimes when this happens to websites, or I get support tickets from people and it's like this, I tell them, use Autoflow. Autoflow, it's much easier to control, especially with responsive design. It's much more easier to control than manual. Because with manual, you would have to do this. I would have to go to this button text and then drag it here manually. And then if I go back to edit grid, that auto-generated column is gone. All right. But I have to do that manually. And say if I delete another column, look at that. I've deleted a column, but look at this. The image is still beyond the 4 columns. The reason why is because this is manually placed to start at column 1 and end at column 5. And so this is saying, hey, you know what? I still need 5 columns because you told me so. So now to fix this, I have to set this to 4. And now if I go back to edit grid, it's like, okay, now we're good. But this is just too much work, and that's where Autoflow comes in. Okay? Hopefully this makes sense. HG, can you make a gallery of pictures with different sizes in grid? Yes, you can, but you have to use manual. You have to set them to manual. You can't do auto placement with different picture sizes. Yeah, using the content block. Thomas, you know I expect a beer, right? I will start up a buy me a beer page and I'll donate a beer to you. Cheers. Yeah, Andrew, I'm late, but I made it. Yay! Welcome. Glad you made it. So that's a little bit of grid. So you have auto placement and you have manual. Area, I still need to learn up on. I haven't used area yet. Okay? It's one of those things I gotta figure out. Yeah. Let's see here. Ivan, thank you so much for the coffee, Ivan. You rock. You need to let us donate something else. To Tomas? You are already donating your time to be part of this live stream. So that's more than I can ask for. So thank you all so much. All right. Next thing, collection list filtering. Okay. Cool. I like this one. Let's drag in our container and let's put in that collection list. And let's pull that data from blog posts. So we're doing collection list filtering. Collection list, and we said that was a grid. There we go. Hey, I thought I already made a... Okay. That was interesting. Alright, so we're there. We're good. Let's go ahead and we'll just drag in an image. And name. Okay, so we've reset up our stuff. Let's delete the... I'm going back to the beginning. There we go. And I think we had like 16. There we go. All right, so we're back. We're good. Collection list filtering. There's two ways to do this. There's the native Webflow way, which has limitations, and then there's the cool JetBoost way. All right, so we'll talk about the Webflow way first. Okay, now I'm going to create another collection called categories, and we'll set it up to be 5 categories. And I'll also create another collection called tags. Okay, so they're like blog post tags, and I'll create 10 of them. Now I need to connect this blog post to these 2 collections, and how we do that is we create references, and we'll start with the single reference. And if you're not familiar about what I'm doing, again, refer back to my last stream. It explains everything in detail. So I'm connecting these up. Multi-reference. Connecting these up. And let's go ahead and delete all the fake stuff that I have right now, and then recreate them. You're going to be over caffeinated. You're helping. I want to encourage. Yes, thank you. Thank you. My first paid Webflow site was created with a custom filter. It was a cool project. I wish I could share it, but of course links are blocked. Let me see. Let's add 10. Go ahead and share it. Just put a space between the domain name and .com, so YouTube would not think it's a link. All right. So each of these blog posts have are part of a different category and also have different tags. Okay, so this one has that category, that one has that category, and no tags. Let's give this some tags. Okay, so a very, very simple Webflow collection filter. Why is this so big? What just happened? Hold on. Oh, it's because the height is 100 VH. There we go. All right. So, easiest way to create the filter is by clicking on any of the purple elements in your collection list, and then going to the settings panel and pressing the plus to filters. And so this is simple filter. It's all it's saying is, what do you want to match? And so I can go down to here and say, if the category equals this, then show those. And so there, I filtered them. Okay? If you want to change it, easy enough. If the category equals this, then show it. Or you can do other stuff, like if it doesn't equal this, then show all the other stuff. Or if the category is not blank, like if there is a category, show it. If a category is not set, then show it. Okay, so no items found because all of them have a category set. And so that's how you filter. Now, doing it this way, you cannot allow your users to do real-time filtering. There's other ways to do filtering. If some of you have heard of a thing called a mix it up Webflow, and one of the Webflow QA engineers, Anya, she created this tutorial. She's super awesome, and this is a custom code way to do it. Now, the downside of this, oh, I can show it there. The downside of this is that every Webflow collection list can only show up to 100 CMS items. If you need to show more than that, you need to use the Webflow pagination setting. Okay? And when you click on next page, it loads up the next 100. And so this mix it up can't filter through more than 100. Okay? But if you have less than 100 CMS items, this is cool. If you want a way for people to do it on their own, let's see here if I can pull this up. Here we go. So ascending, descending, random, only show the ones with that color or that color or that color. So this is pretty cool, and it works for static elements and Webflow collection items. Okay? It takes a little bit of learning. There's a learning curve to this, but she lays it out as best she can to explain what you need to do. All right? So if you have less than 100 items, go for it. If you have more than 100, that's when JetBoost comes in. And JetBoost lets you do real-time filtering and dynamic search. So multifaceted filtering of Webflow collection lists is what you can do here. So this is a paid third-party integration that you would hook up to your Webflow project. And the instructions are super simple. And he also created a Webflow clonable that you can use. And cool segue, I actually used it for a project that I worked on for the past 2 weeks. And it's right here. Zach says there is a way to get past the 100 item limit with custom code, but it's a little bit wonky. Ah, okay. I don't know that, Zach. So that's why I just relied on JetBoost to do it. Because, again, I'm a no-coder, but I know a little bit of code, and so if there's a way to do it without code and someone is just streamlining that process, I'm all in on that tool. And JetBoost helped me. And so, for example, right here, if I'm looking for public service and government, there we go. It's at the top. If I'm looking for e-commerce retail, it's at the top. Or these two, there we go. So yeah, real-time filtering with your Webflow collections. Pretty cool. And so this is connected to these tags. So pretty cool. Yeah. So that's easy, medium, easy, hard, and then medium type of collection list filtering. Okay, so the easy is setting it up inside of Webflow natively, but your users don't get to make the filters themselves. You would set that up for them using this. The hard version is the mix it up, where you have to put in custom code and set up your class names exactly the way it needs to be set up. The cool way, the medium route, I guess, would be JetBoost, and and there's a pricing to it. So, it's $9 a month to use JetBoost, and you can use it on as many websites as you want. All right, but this is not an advertisement for them, but I'm just saying I've used it and I like it, and it made me get this project out for work faster. Above website uses Mix It Up. JetBoost uses Mix It Up? Oh. So he probably took that and then took it to the next level. Interesting. All right. Let's go to last thing, because this is related. So this right here, this column of boxes, this is a collection list. And the new cool thing that Webflow released is something that so many people have been waiting for since 2015. Since 2015 is, can I add a collection list within a collection list? And finally, we can say, yes, we can. And that's what this is. This whole column is a collection list. And within each collection list item, collection item, is this right here. A collection list. So we nested that. Filters, Velia, filters are free on Webflow, but doing multifaceted filters that's real time for users to use, that's something that our team is still looking into. But yeah, there's a lot of things Webflow wants to create, and again, I always say this. It's easy to make something hard to use. It is hard to make something easy to use. And Webflow always takes the hardest route, because we want to make sure that it's easy for people to build things inside of Webflow. Okay? So let's play around with nested collections. So I have this collection list. Let's take away the filter real quick. I want to see them all. Okay, so we have all the collections. Oh, I misunderstood you. Mix It Up was used on your project. All right, I'll take a look at your project soon. Hold on. So nested collections. So in here I have an image, and let's go ahead and put in a piece of text, and that'll just be the name of the blog post. So I'm going to pull that in. And let's go ahead and push this down. Yep, there we go. And now, it used to be, if you have a bunch of blog posts, you can't show off the tags, or even, you can't show off the tags that it has, okay? Here's a good example of how you would use this. Let's change the layout a bit. Change this grid to be one column. Delete. Come on. Yes. And each collection item, we'll set that as flexbox because we want the content to be in one row. There we go. And then let's make this image a width of, say, 75, because it's just a thumbnail. 150. Cool. Round this out a bit. Oh, my computer's running slow right now. Okay, and let's go ahead and put in a div and put that div block there. So I'm just making a layout real quick. Please hold. And also this needs to be centered. No? Oh, it's right here. Huh? Oh, sorry. It's this one right here. No, it's not. I was right. What's going on? Why is this div block so... Oh, it's because this has a margin bottom of 50. There we go. Okay, so what if you had like a blog post list like this, and then you also want to show off the blog post tags that it has? So now I can just drag in a collection list within a collection item, and there we go. Now, there are limitations to this. You can only pull things like blog posts, or you can only pull things that are from a multi-reference. Notice how I don't even have the category in here. I only have the tags. That's because you can only do multi-reference fields. Multi-reference and multi-image fields, okay? So if I click on tags and let's go ahead and set the collection list to a grid and say 3 columns, and there we go. So max 3 columns, then I'll run down to the next line. And then I can just style this however I want. I can put in a piece of text and pull that text from the name of the blog post tag. And there we go. So you have the name of the blog post right here. So you have the name of the blog post right here, and then each of these are tags. And then that's it. So, yeah. Super simple now. And that's what I used for the Better Together site. I have the tags here. And yeah. And this is the actual category. So, yeah. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully you understand more about collections within collections. And again, this feature only works with multi-reference or multi-image fields. Plus, there's another limitation. You can only put one collection inside of a collection. You cannot nest another one inside of this, and you cannot put another collection within this, for example. So if I try to add this, nope, you cannot have more than one nested collection list. If I try to put this in here, you cannot have more than one inside of another. Okay? So if you're thinking, oh, I wish I can do more. I wish I can list, dynamic list, inception, keep going and nest as far as I can. Right now, it's only one. But, you know, as with everything with Webflow, it's a start, and we'll iterate. I know that the team will iterate and do more with it. What will it be next update? I don't know. But this is not the end of it. It's never the end of it. So, cool. Yeah. Let's see here. Awesome. Hold on, getting to my notifications real quick. Wait, is that... Oh, okay, so I'm caught up. Cool. Thank you again, Ivan. Let's rock some CMS. We're rocking CMS right now. All right. Let's see here. Andrew the Kid, do you still give critiques on Webflow projects people are working on? I remember that used to be one of my favorite parts of your streams. Yeah, I'd be happy to take a look at what you're working on. Let me see if I missed any questions. I think, let's see here. I don't remember who was asking about swapping buttons, but I threw together this in case. Okay. Yeah, hopefully this stream helped you understand the, sheesh, I totally forgot. I hope you understand, CSS Grid more. Hope you understand collection list filtering and the 3 different ways to make that happen, and nested collections, which is super simple. Let's go to your questions, and if you want me to look over your projects, now is the time. If you have any other questions, now is the time. Oh yeah, someone asked about responsive design. So when it comes to responsive design, you always want to use percentages, VW, or VH. And if you go into my YouTube channel, I speak directly about CSS widths and also CSS heights. Watch those, and it gives you a good explanation of when to use width, minimum width, or maximum width. And it's always best to use percentage or VW for your widths, because you're solving the issue in between different breakpoints. Okay? Let me see if I can give you an example. Let me go back. So this image right here. Notice how I set this to a fixed width of 150 pixels. Let's make this huge. We'll make this 800 pixels wide. Okay? Now, because that's 800 pixels wide, 800... Ooh. Let's take a... I don't want this to be responsive. I'm trying to break things real quick. Okay, so let me set the max width to none, because I want things to break. Okay, there we go. If I go here, please break. Okay, cool. Broken. All right. So notice if I preview this and it has a set width of 800, and then I go here, this is still 800. So it's not going to grow and shrink with the browser width size or the device window size or screen size. Yeah. So instead of using exact pixels, it's best to use percentages. So I'm going to go here and we'll set this to, we'll say 20%. So this is 20% of its parent. I typed 20%. There we go. So now this is the width of 20%. If I go here, now it's 20% of its parent, and the parent actually shrunk because now instead of 4 columns, we're at 3 columns. Okay? If I go like this, if I play around with the browser size, this should grow and shrink. Oof. Bad example. Let me try again. Let me put in an image. I have an image, right? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna set this to 900 pixel width. And if I go here, 900 pixel with the max width of none. And see how it gets clipped? It's not like some of it is not on the canvas because the width is 900. It's a set width. If I go back to my desktop and set this to be 100% width of its parent, and the parent being the container, because the container has its own width, and then I start to shrink it down, notice how the image will scale. There we go. Okay, so I don't know what the user's phone or tablet size is going to be. So use percentages or VWs to solve for everything in between. Okay, so a quick explanation. Hopefully that makes sense. But yes, watch those 2 videos that I made on my channel about widths and heights. Okay, let's go to Tomas's website. He used Mix It Up. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Veloce. Loso Veloce. So you made this site? Okay. This is pretty cool. I like the photography is good. Clean nav bar. Clean way to explain that, hey, cookies are on this site. I'm all in so far. Good job, Tomas. Tomas? Scrolling down. I'm trying to find your Mix It Up. Ooh, so this wheel turns and these 2 top bar shows the scroll progress. Cool. That's the collection list. I like your card design. Nice. All right, so where's the Mix It Up? Actually, one thing, notice how these right here, they're all different heights. You'll need to solve that by stretching the cards 100% of its parent. That way they can all be the same row as like this. And the reason why this is happening is because you have different number of text lines. So this has 2, so it pushes it down this much, whereas this only has 1 and this only has 1. And yeah, so it looks like it's going up in stairs. But yeah. I'm guessing the Mix It Up is in here for view all. So let's see. Is my video laggy? I feel like my video is laggy. Yeah, my computer is like processing like a lot. What I'm hoping for is maybe when I hit, I don't know, 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to upgrade to find a way to use my unused PC to be the streaming box, and then I use my MacBook to send the signal over to my PC, and then my PC will be the one rendering all I'm learning how to be a streamer, so I'm trying to figure it out. So a bit laggy, yes. Ah. All right. Well, one day. All right. Ah, okay. Here you go. Filter by brand. Honda. Cool. Good job. Ducat. So notice how so I clicked on this, thinking. So I went like this, and then I clicked and then closed. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know if I like the hover, open on hover. But maybe it's just me. I don't know. Good job. Okay, so if there's nothing in a certain category, maybe there's a way to show, hey, no vehicles in this category. Because I just clicked on virus and there's nothing. Yeah. Let's see, RSVR. If I do a search, what is this? Is this the Webflow native search? No, it's the feed. My computer is struggling right now on the video rendering. Oh, it's the customer error. He should be removing these. Yeah, but even if it's customer error, like that's another, help your customer out and just put a none state. So that way, as a customer, I'm like, I clicked on it, but I see nothing. But I'm not sure if there's nothing, or is it me? Or is it, so you gotta, I would suggest add that. Okay, so yeah, this search is native Webflow's site search. Good job, Tomas. Love it. Looks nice. All right, Zach, swap buttons. What is this swap buttons? Oh, this is the thing you're talking about. Babus had the question. Did you just do this right now? Nice. Yeah, it's just tabs. Good job. Here. I'll link it on the chat. Thank you, Zach. Here, I'm gonna reply to Babus if he's not here. Where is he? Where are you? This may help. It was created by Zach. Yay. Thank you, Zach. Cool. Oh, it's only 11:15. Oh, wow. Look how laggy that was. Oh my gosh, the lag is intense. I wonder what... Hold on. What's causing it? You skipped my link. No! Andrew, where's your link? Oh, there we go. Acme Counseling. Got it. Dang, so much lag. Hold on. Okay. Hold on, I'm looking at my... Yeah, my FPS is at 30. So... Oh, whatever. We'll keep going. There's a clone link in the page if you want to see how he threw it together. Cool. I'll take a look, Zach. But first, Andrew the Kid, you skipped my link. All right, so first things first, dude. Okay, COVID update. I like your illustration. Was it? Where did you get this? I like this. It's clear, and it can be used for any type of language because people understand what this is. Cool. Lightbox. Close it. Oh, nice illustrations. Oh, this is needed. Mental health, addiction, diversion. Yeah, mental health is a big issue nowadays because we're all stuck indoors. I like your nav bar, nice and big, makes sense. This hero row makes sense. But things are like squished together, I feel. For example, this could use a little bit more. This could use a little bit more margin, top and bottom. Let me see. For example, so you're using margin, top and bottom VH. I wonder why. I would use straight pixels for this. So something like 42 and 42. That gives it more breathing room for people to understand this. And I think you're using VH. Yeah, you're using VH for font size too. I'm curious to understand why you would choose that. When it comes to viewport height, I don't usually mess around with that when it comes to type because I want to make sure that it's readable across every size screen. Yeah, for scaling. Yeah. Because if someone has a small or like a small browser window, still make the type big because the type is more important than the illustration. You know? So I'm going to go here and I would put, again, more banner orange. Yeah. More breathing room. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, you're using padding. Padding 5 VH. Yeah, like I don't think you would have to use scaling for this padding. Just even that is nice, right here. Let's see here. Let's try. I like 42. Let's see here. Even 142 on this banner, so it's clear. Like, hey, this is a place to. This is a call to action row. This is much more clear. Okay. We can do it for you. Yeah, so this is really too close to this top. So a lot more breathing room, especially when this has to do with mental health. You want people to be able to breathe. Okay, visually they need to breathe. And so a lot more margin at the top and bottom of everything. And this is something that I learned from the Better Together project that I did with the team. I had, when I was first creating this, the brand studio team at Webflow was telling me, yeah, same thing. We need more breathing room at the top. We need more padding inside of each. They kept telling me more space, more space, more space. And I'm taking that idea and giving it to you as well. More space between everything. Like this right here, beautiful. A lot of space. And you can actually, you know what? You don't even have to create it yourself because Webflow has a couple of come here, click layouts. Wow, look how long I have to wait. My computer is slow. I need to figure this out next week. All right, so right here you have a call to action area. You know, if I want to drag this in. Oh, come on. Oh, my computer. There we go. So a whole call to action section, right? That's exactly what you're doing. And Webflow already added the information for you. All you have to do is just replace it. Okay? So, love the illustrations, love the nice colors, but more breathing room for everything. Oh, look at this. See how much breathing room you have here? That's nice. Forms don't have to be this long. They don't have to be this wide. Whose name actually takes up that much room? Put it into a 550 pixel width container, and you should be good. Form by power. Okay. But yeah. Yeah, more breathing room in between these, each of these. Yeah, more breathing room. More breathing room. I've been told fit more information on the page. Good to know. I had it right the first time. If your client says, we want to put as much information on the page as possible, we don't want people scrolling down, ask them what type of person doesn't scroll down when it comes to websites. Everyone scrolls down. How long do people scroll down? Well, how much do people ingest content from Facebook or Instagram or Reddit? We just keep scrolling and scrolling. So people are already used to scrolling. It's, you know, do you want to bombard people with a lot of information, or do you want people to ingest consume the information at a slower pace but easily understand it? So, office address. Okay, I understand it. Let me go to the next part. Office hours, rather than just, here's our office address, hours, phone number, fax number, and here's our map. It's like too much in your face. All right. Abel is asking, explain Webflow pricing. It's a little confusing. I made a YouTube video about this on my channel. Look for which Webflow plan should I get. I think that's what I named it, but I explain it better there. The fact that it needs its own explainer is, yeah, kind of weird, but too long didn't watch. It's, man, the lag. It's really getting to me. Too long didn't watch is you have site plans and you have account plans. If you're building one site, then ignore the account plans. Just add a site plan to your project and you're good. If you're a freelancer and you're building more than one site for a bunch of your different clients, then get an account plan. And then for each of your projects that you're building for your clients, when they're ready to go live, add a site plan to each of those. That's the most basic way I can explain it. Hope that helps. Gats, I asked about responsive, but I got lost in chat. It's a bit further up. Okay, so yeah, Gats, can you ask one more time? What part of responsive design is hard for you to understand? I want to make sure that I clear it up for you as best I can. Russell, still trying to figure out how to add interactions. Made a home page copy based off of your old tutorial. Russell, what kind of interaction are you trying to create? And you know what? Maybe next week I'll focus on interactions. Yeah, next week I'll just focus on interactions. Abel, that was actually good. Yay! All right, cool. And I'm annoyed by my lag. How do I... Did that help? I made the window small. No, didn't help. I don't know why there's a lag. Is it the... Hold on. Man. Alright. Okay. So, grid with slideshow full page. Grid with slideshow full page. Grid with slideshow. Grid with slideshow. Hold on. There we go. Last week this was not happening. Anyways. So grid with slideshow, are you saying a slider component and then putting grid within it? So you mean something like this? Where you have a grid of things inside of each slide? I need a example. Ooh, thank you to, who's that? Someone from Russia with love. Thanks for the coffee, someone. You rock. What? Yeah, not sure. I'd like to understand default max width on grid. Ah, okay. Since I have grid here, default max, min max. Okay, so if you watch my CSS width YouTube video, that explains when to use widths, when to use minimum width, and when to use max width. This is kind of like the same thing. You have a minimum width. So minimum meaning, let me bring it over here. I can actually click on this. So minimum width is this column. Anything within this column, the width of it will be a minimum of 200 pixels. Okay, so this column will be a minimum of 200 pixels. However, the maximum will be 1 FR. FR is a fraction. Okay, so 1 fraction, and this is 1 fraction, meaning it's 50-50. Okay, if I add another column, then it'll be 1 fraction, 1 fraction, 1 fraction, and that means that they're all equal. Now, what happens if this one right here has a minimum of 200, and I'm going to say this is but it has a maximum of 300 pixels. Notice how this got smaller, all right? Because the maximum width this will be is 300 pixels. You can do the same thing with rows. So this first row will be a min-max. The minimum will be 200 pixels tall, but the maximum will be 1 fraction. And so the fraction right here doesn't really matter because the height of the actual grid is not being set. So this 1 FR doesn't really matter until you set a height for this grid. Okay? Russell, do you see the example I pasted? No, I don't see. If you're putting a link, please, put dot, instead of putting .com or whatever, put the dot inside right dot inside of parentheses. Yeah, Tomas got it. Thank you, Tomas. And I hope I'm saying your name right. Okay, so this is when you want to use min-max, refer to CSS width and CSS heights in my previous videos. Those refer to this. The only thing that's different is that Grid uses a new unit called FR, which is, why was I going to say francs? Fractions. Okay, so a fraction of the page, or a fraction, not of the page, of the parent element. Okay. Yeah. Would that be responsive when we set min max? It's responsive. So FR is responsive because it's taking a fraction of the width of the parent element. Okay. If I set exact pixels, just like I said, exact pixels is not responsive. So if I make things smaller, 200 to 300 pixels will not change. If I change these to FR, like say the minimum of this is 2 FR. Oh, I can't type in FR in this one? Okay, max is 3 FR. Okay. But the minimum we'll say is 200 pixels. Okay. So if I keep shrinking the page, if it goes if I make the browser skinnier than 200 pixels, then this grid will break. It'll go off the canvas. Okay. But the max, meaning how big the column is going to be, is up to 3 fractions of its of the parent width. Okay, so another example, I can set it to 800. The minimum is 800, and the max is auto, meaning there is no maximum to this. Okay, if I go here, see that 800 pixels? It's not going to shrink. It's not going to shrink because 800 means use this exact size and don't be responsive. But if I go back here and change this to 3 FR, come on, 3. What happened to FR? Oh, it's on max. Let's say 3 FR on the max. There we go. So if I do this, notice how it doesn't go off the canvas because this is more fluid than exact pixels. Okay? Hope this helps. All right. Who asked that question? Okay, Ranjan. Hope that helps. Okay, Russell, what's up? What is this? Okay, preloader, nice. Not bad, not bad. These are some of the immediately I get that Dribble vibe. I usually see these types of layouts on Dribble. And it's nice. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's nice. And the fact that you're able to get that type of vibe inside of a real working website is awesome. Because too many times do I see on Dribble a static mock of a website and people calling that web design. And then there's no link to the actual site, meaning it was just done in Photoshop, Illustrator, Figma, or whatever. So whenever I see web design in Dribble, I always go, is it really? Is it really when you don't have a link to the actual site or the actual page? Make it real and let me see responsiveness of that design before you call it web design. And another thing I get kind of like about is they call it web design when clearly they created the design in After Effects and showing motion in the website as you scroll down, or some sort of preloader or some sort of hover effect, when it's super smooth and it was done in After Effects or Premiere, whatever. And I'm like, show me the code. Show me that it is real. You cannot say it's web design until I can click on it with a mouse or tap on it on a tablet or a phone. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. I'm done. Back to Russell's design. This is awesome because it's real and I can click on stuff. And that's cool. Is this Webflow? Is this really Webflow? Oh, it's not Webflow. But the fact that you created this, amazing. Oh, anime. I wanted to play around with anime.js. Russell, you're trying to build this out in Webflow. Got the grid working, but the interaction's not so much. Ah, I would love to try to make this. Okay, so I've done something like this in a previous Webflow live stream. No, on my personal live stream on this channel. Where is it though? It's gonna take me a while to find because my computer is going super slow. But I'll try to find it for you. We still have 20 minutes in the stream, so you didn't create this, but someone else did, and whoever did this is awesome. I'm interested. What does it look like on a smaller browser? And someone bought me who bought 3 coffees from Paul. Great job. Thank you, Paul. You rock. Caffeinated as ever now. What was I looking for? Oh yeah, responsiveness. Okay, looking good. How's it gonna stack? Wait. Interesting. It breaks right here. Like you can't see the content. See, this is what I mean. You can have a cool dribble grid, different grid type of website, but if it's not responsive, then why? And so the person who creates this, could be he or she, goes away from the slideshow completely. And you know what? Maybe that's the right move, because a grid like that is hard to make responsive. Your space slider is similar. Yeah, I'm kind of looking for it. I can see that Webflow is loading in the background, taking forever and a day. Let's see here. Is it in here? And I don't blame Webflow for the load time. It's my computer. I mean, look at that lag on my audio and my video. I want to figure this out. Next week, we're going to have a better stream because I'm going to test this out. Okay, it's not working. If anyone can find that link. Ugh. Oh, I'm so irritated by the stream lag. Anyways, Russell, I like the way you redesigned it in Webflow. Yeah, let's take a look at your link, Russell. My search? I wasn't searching. Did I type it wrong? There we go. Nice. Yeah, good job. Yeah. So how to do the interactions of this? Interesting. You did the arrow. Okay. That's one way to do it. So with Webflow sliders, you can manipulate the slider component to put the arrows somewhere completely different. You can change the area that slides and the mask. You can send it somewhere else on the page. There's a way to do this exact grid inside of Webflow with a slider component. It'll take me more than 30 minutes to create. At least an hour. But it is doable. Yeah. Look for... Let me see. Let me see if I can find the video. Or at least... Webflow... Pixel Geek... Custom slider. Let me see here. Do I have it? Yeah, the space one. And I put it on Dribble too. Let me see if I can find it. I stole one of your old tutorials and put them on the homepage. Oh, I mean, yeah. Look at this. This food one that I made. This is made in the Webflow slider component. This is made in the Webflow. Oh my god, what the heck? Is that showing up on the stream? What is going on? There we go. Oh, that's... Okay. Well, anyways. So yeah. This is a slider. And this is all Webflow. The only thing that's different is I found a way to make this rotate. So it's kind of like a lazy Susan. So yeah, this is possible. So here's the link. Oh, wrong link. Well, I mean, you can get to this link from there. But when I had a lot more time, which I don't now, I would take dribble animations or whatnot of people creating websites or web designs, and they're not even real. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I'll show you that it's possible in Webflow. And it's responsive. So, come on, people. Make it real. Look at the home page copying the pages. Which pages? Hold on. Let me go back to your thing. What copy? Not sure what you're talking about, Russell. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see if I can find the space one. Webflow.com/pixelgeek. Let me see if it's in my Webflow profile. And again, I am super sorry for all the lag, the stream issues. We'll figure it out next week. I'm gonna try to test some more stuff over the weekend. Maybe connect my PC back up and see if I can send the signal from my MacBook to my PC and then PC to YouTube. We'll figure it out together. In the Pages sidebar. Pages sidebar. Homepage copy. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, so it is possible. So yeah, this is the thing I built a long time ago. And this is done using a Webflow native slider. So it is possible. And that was the project I was looking for, so thank you. Alright, elements stacked on top of each other in the z-axis and have to shrink and grow and stay in the same position. Elements stacked on top of each other and have to shrink and grow and stay in the same position. Gats, I really want to help, but it's hard to understand without a visual cue, without a visualization of what you're talking about. If you can send me an example. Former Adobe Muse. For example, a product with callouts overlaid on top. Easy enough until they need to be responsive and grow and stay together in the same place. Callouts overlaid on top. Need to understand what do you mean by callouts? I mean, like something in the center of the page. Something that's on the center of the page that like grows and shrinks. Because I can quickly show you an example of that. Yeah. That looks cool. Also making me hungry. Yeah, the Webflow food thing. Yeah. But yeah, Gats, DM me on Twitter if you can send me a link to like a visual thing, and maybe I can quickly send you like a Loom video that quickly explains that overlaying things when it comes to Webflow. Also, okay, so for overlaying, one thing you can also watch is my video about CSS positions. The different things about CSS position: static, relative, absolute, fixed, and sticky. Because with position absolute and fixed, you can overlay things on top of each other. And maybe that will help you understand stacking elements on top of each other. Okay? Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. Should be CSS positioning explained. Yeah, hope that helps. Yeah. Any other questions? Let me see. Let me go up. I'm looking at that transition and I'm just like... Anyways, let's look for any other questions. And if you have any feedback on what I can do better for these streams, let me know. I want to make sure that you're all getting value from it. I want to make sure that these 2 hours that we spend together helps you learn something, or at least empowers you to do something new inside of Webflow you've never done before. Okay? Or if you're new to Webflow, hopefully empowered you to, dabble in it. Try dragging in something like a grid and saying, "Oh, maybe I can do something with this." Scott, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the donation. Let's see here. Someone. Thank you. Where is it from? Okay. So yeah, to everyone who donated on my Buy Me a Coffee page, thank you so much. I'm glad you think this is valuable to you. Please send me more topics to talk about. I think next week. What do you think? Interactions? Should we do it? Trying to explain Webflow interactions the easiest way possible. Because I know that everything that's just doing the Webflow interactions in a one thin panel on the right can be confusing. It's like so much information into a small space. How do you make interactions? How do you make some crazy things happen inside of Webflow? I'll be more than happy to explain that next week. Scott Levin, I donated. Question never got answered. Oh, where is it? Hold on. Scott. Looking for it. Okay, I guess we're doing interactions. Scott, I'm giving you the floor today, or for the last couple of minutes. No, you asked question 4 times. Ah! Okay, there we go. Would love to see one-off style symbol, please. Is that the one? Would like to see one-off style. Still can't get my head around slider interaction. Gonna have to work on that. Yeah. Okay, so one-off styles. Yeah, it is kind of confusing, one-off styles. Let me see here. Design. Let's get this loaded. Okay, so one of the newest features that Webflow has released is symbols. What do they call it? It's Cymbal Overrides. There we go. Now, to be honest, I haven't used Cymbal Overrides personally, but I know that there's a need for it because a lot of community members have asked for it, and the team worked on it. So it's needed, and it's live. So what is a Cymbal Override? So, for example, this green area, whenever you see a green area, that means it's a symbol. What is a symbol? A symbol is an element, a group of elements that can be reused on multiple pages. And so the cool thing about symbols is when you change it in one page, if it's on any other page throughout the website, that change pushes to all those other pages as well. Now, we have this navigation right here. And if I go to another page, that same navigation symbol is here. If I double click this, come on, wow, so slow. If I double click this and change this to hello world, and then click outside of it, let me see, close it and go back to the home page, watch what happens. That change also happened on the home page. So what if I go to the categories page and I'm like, you know what? I want to change this. Only on this instance of this symbol, I want to change this. So right here, I can go to settings. And I'm going to click on link to field and new override field. And I'm going to call this, I don't know, page title. Okay. Now you can apply overrides. So go to symbol. All right. So right now it says hello world. Link content to override field. All right. So let's see if I can change this to change this. Okay. And I'm done. Now if I go to home, it should still say hello world. And there you go. If I go to another page with that same symbol, it still says hello world. However, if I go to back to categories, it says that override, which is change this. Okay? So, yeah, Valea says she uses, I use the symbol override all the time now. Yeah, so that's one way to use symbols. And you can link text, images. Yeah, there's a couple things you can do with it. Can you override positions placement? You can't override styles. This is only for data. So if I go here, let's manage. So yeah, it doesn't seem like you can set overrides when it comes to styles, because that's a completely different panel. Okay. Thank you, Velia. She says the override is only for the content. The structure cannot be overridden. Cool. Hopefully that helps you, Scott. And again, sorry for missing your question 4 times. It's hard to keep track. But yeah. Okay, it's 12:01. I hope you all had a fun time learning. Let's do this next week. Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time to 12 p.m. We'll do interactions. We'll go through all the basics of Webflow interactions, because it is a very confusing thing. How do you control animations? How do you control interactions and triggers and whatnot, that when you click on one thing, something else happens with a completely different element? Or if you click on a page and then you want to have some sort of animation load, or while you're scrolling, where the mouse position is. There's so many different things we can learn next week. Thank you all so much. Hold on, I gotta get my music going. Where are you? I wonder if this is gonna take up. There we go. Okay, yeah, so I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all so much for being here. I love doing these streams because knowledge needs to be put out there. I've been given this opportunity to work with Webflow and learn from the best, from some of the best engineers, some of the best designers, and I want to do my best to pass that knowledge forward. And you know what? Speaking of passing stuff forward, if you learn anything from this, send that knowledge forward too to someone else who's also asking questions, because we should all grow together. If you want to start your own YouTube channel and teach people stuff that you're learning, go for it. There's so many people who like to learn in different ways. So start your own channel and teach, because it's fun, because you learn while teaching. What was it? Oh yeah, I already said my schedule, but yeah. So I'll see you next Saturday. We'll learn things about interaction, but that's it. Thank you all so much, and as always, make the web beautiful together. See ya.